purchasing process consists of three main steps. That's to create a purchase order, receive goods, and pay for those goods. We have already created a purchase order. This video focuses on the receipt of goods ordered along with the receipt of the vendor's invoice. I'm using the Fabricam company, and the system date default is 4/12/2017. Generally, several days will pass between the time when you place an order with the vendor and the time you receive those goods. In our case, I'm going to assume 7 days have passed, and I'm going to change my system date to reflect that. I'm going to change my system date to reflect the date the goods are received, which is 4/19/2017. To record the receipt of goods, I will select Purchasing from the navigation panel on the left, and then go to the grouping of transactions and select Receivings Transaction Entry. The default type is shipment. If you leave it at shipment, you'll have to come back later and also process it using invoice. So we're going to use the drop down and select Shipment Invoice. So we tab down to the next field. The receipt number, the receiving report number, is automatically generated, which we will accept as is. Recognize that these numbers are unique, so your number will differ from mine. We are receiving both the shipment and the invoice, so we want to go ahead and put in a vendor document. So we'll just make one up here and enter 9786. The date is correct. 4/19/2017 is the date that I have receiving the goods. If you did not change the system date, you may want to use the calendar here to reflect the correct date of goods received. We'll tab through and go to the field for the vendor ID, and I will enter my vendor ID, which you can either use a lookup glass or you can type in MLW242 is my vendor number. And as I tab, I get another visual, right, to check and make sure, in my case, Watson Marcia. So you want to make sure that your name appears here, otherwise you may have entered the wrong vendor ID number. The currency defaults in, and we will tab through. Before we receive the goods, notice that this window also has a help, but it looks a tad bit different than the previous videos. The help is the last item across the top menu, but by clicking that, you can see that you've got your help menu and you have the selection of About This window, whereby you can find help for all the fields in the Receivings Transaction window, or if you so choose, you can use a keyword or keywords to do a search. There are several ways that we can record goods received. The easiest way is to click on the Auto Receive button. This will show you the goods that are outstanding on the open purchase orders for this particular vendor. I see my purchase order 2079, whereby I ordered 20 color printers. By selecting the box, by checking it, I'm telling the system that all 20 printers were received. Now, if I was short shipped, meaning I didn't receive all 20 printers, I would want to change the quantity shipped. Likewise, I would want to change the quantity invoiced. I only want to pay for those items that I received, and this is very important. But we're going to assume that we received the shipment as we ordered it. So down at the bottom, you can see the Receive button. I'm going to click this again to tell the system that I received those goods. As we go back to the receivings transaction window, we can see that the system automatically brought forward the 20 printers with the extended cost, in addition the subtotal and the total. Now what we would like to do is review the accounting for it, so we will go to the top and click the Distributions tab. Can see that the Distribution tab cross-references receipt number and shows us where the debits and credits are going in the general ledger. If I show the details of the window by clicking here, I can see the general ledger account numbers. All looks appropriate, so I will click OK. Next, I am going to click Post at the top, and what this will do is update the inventory records and the vendor's balance in the subsidiary ledger. When I post, I will also receive windows asking me if I want to view several reports. As those windows come up, you can either just click cancel, or if you want to go through the process of saving them to your computer, you can. But I'm just going to go ahead and click cancel. There's quite a few. Let's confirm the updating of the records. And I'm going to do that by going to Inventory. And then I'm going to go to the grouping cards, and I'm going to go ahead and look at my inventory item. And again, you can look it up, or you can type in your number, and you can see that it brings forth my number. And you can see that we now have 20 inventory items on hand, which is what we would expect. For those individuals whose access to the system may be restricted so that they can only view information and not change. And remember, in the cards, we can change the inventory information in the inventory maintenance window. But if we wanted to just view, if people only have access to viewing, I can go over to the inquiry group and I can select item. And again, I can put in my inventory item. And a person who has access only to viewing the records can see that we do have 20 on hand.